Good evening. I am Mr. Foxrific, kicking off a new series I'll be calling D&D Stories. Now, I'm just going to be telling you all stories of different D&D campaigns I've played, as Dungeon Master or player or whatever else, although those are pretty much the only two options. But, so let's get into this. The story is called The Cult of the Fire God, and the reason for that is because there happened to be a cult, and they changed religions. And I'll explain why. So, it was Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign, and we were chasing down the cult of Tiamat. And so, we had busted into a temple by finishing off the guards that were attacking the back, the cultists that were attacking the back and the kobolds. And so, I had stayed in the building with a nightmare in case anyone had broken in, because our paladin and other such beefier fighters than my rogue, Sai Goldpetal, had decided to help evacuate in case there were any soldiers outside. There was a large enough group breaking in, about 6 kobolds, a couple of cultists, 2 to be specific. And so I was riding the nightmare, and for any of you who know, or don't know, the nightmare gives fire immunity to whoever rides it, and so since I was on it, I got fire immunity, so I did the only sensible thing and lit myself on fire, because, well, what else do you do in a situation such as that? And so when they broke in, the kobolds got scared because there was an elf on fire, and, well, a pirate elf on fire, but they didn't exactly know that. And so the kobolds ran out, the cultists got really scared but didn't move, and then I told them, I'm the god of fire, Keranos. And with a really high deception, persuasion, and intimidation rolls, I convinced them that I was in fact a god, and then I told them that I was going to be sending my messenger, Sai Goldpetal, which was my actual character, for when he wasn't on fire. And so I told them that was my messenger, and they should follow him. They should stop following Tiamat and should follow my cult instead, the cult of the fire god. And they believed me, and that was kind of the beginning of the cult. Although they really, so far they haven't done too much, they've expanded a little bit. So that was kind of how it got started. Then I dropped into a lake after I was on fire, took a little damage, went back, got the cultists, made them believe that my friends were also messengers of the fire god, and then came up with this god, Keranos, who was the god of fire, storms, and of tables. And that was because I had another character, who I'll explain later, who, well, I'll explain him later in a later video. I think everyone will enjoy him. So, after that, we had already been given the mission to find an elf priest, so that's where we went. We followed the remainder of the bandits, cultists, and kobolds, and then we came upon a camp which had, the stragglers, who were kind of like the rear guard for the larger group up ahead, and it was a couple of kobolds on one side of the camp and a couple of cultists, humans, and otherwise on the other side. And so we had sent in I was sent in cultist clothes, robes, and whatever else, to infiltrate, spread lies, kind of breed distrust between the kobolds and humans, and I did that. The humans started battling against the kobolds. Kobolds ran, as is their nature, and then, well, there were 6 cultists left, and so I used the cultists I already had, and Nightmare, and lighting Sai Goldpetal on fire, my character, to create Keranos, the god of fire again, with, well, naturally out of the sight of the other 2 cultists. Then the cultists added to my roll for deception, persuasion, and intimidation, as did the nightmare, all to make it more convincing. I didn't have any fireballs or anything like that. That would have been helpful, but of course, what can you do? And so I had convinced these additional 6 cultists to join the cult of the fire god. And that's pretty much the story. They haven't done anything too insane, except they've been really helpful. like we got to the main camp where the I don't want to spoil the storyline, but we got to a camp and where we needed disguises, and so we thought, well, we might as well just sneak in and send in our sneakiest two rogues, myself and another rogue who is stealthier but less efficient in other areas. And so I said, well, we just have all these cultists. We'll just leave them with the gear, with the cart, and with the nightmare case, and the other animals and such that our druid had acquired over the course of the campaign and other campaigns. And so we used the cultist disguises, went into the camp, and just managed to sneak in pretty easily. Because the disguises were quite effective. We just made them believe that we were mercenaries and guards and all that sort of stuff. And we managed to break in with little to no incident, except for one idiot gambler. And that is the story of the Cult of the Fire God. Thank you for listening to this D&D story, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the series. And I'm going to try and post as often as possible now. I know I've been in a bit of a slump for the last year and a half or so, but I hope to post more. So, hope you enjoyed, and